Hey guys, welcome back. I am here at Kingfish Records, where I've been many times, right? My go-to store. Special guest today, I have Brad. He is the owner of Kingfish Records. So he set a little time in his schedule aside for me so we could talk. I have some questions for him. All my trusty questions right here because I'm a professional. And we'll go inside and take a look and I'll ask you
Yep,
some questions.
absolutely. Let's go inside. Let's
All
have a
right,
look.
cool. So when you first come in the store, you have this new release section, which is pretty cool. I always like this. I like this setup right here. And I'm a book fan, so you have books back here.
Yep.
So what is your idea here? Is this to catch people's eyes? Right away?
Absolutely, yeah. So when we wanted to have a flow to the store, so when you walk in, the first thing you're going to see is obviously newer releases, new titles, and new releases we put on the rack specifically so you can tell which is which. But this is all newer stock, some overstock, not too much of things that have come in. Like you can see Joan Jett, that was a re-release not that long ago. You know, KG Elephant, Ryan Adams, Alice in Chains. It's all usually newer stuff. But then we've got some Zeppelin, we've got some Ringo from Record Store Day.
Okay.
We've incorporated a little bit of the used stuff that's come in, a little on the higher end stuff there.
So it's new. So you had new, like brand new, and
Yes.
you had kind of like have new used.
New used, yep,
Okay.
yep. And you'll find some really good stuff in that used stuff
Yes,
as well. Like, I mean, yeah, that's not stuff that we tend to just leave out on the floor, but
I've pulled stuff out of there.
yep, yeah,
I've
there's
pulled
good
stuff out everywhere.
There's good stuff.
And do you use kind of like this one here is more like this is what we really want to show people? Is this what people are
Yep.
coming in for, do you think?
Well, yeah, it's just basically helps people sort out what's the weekly releases, and so when they come in and they're looking for something specific that's been released that day and we have it, it's going to be right here.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to get into some of the little personal questions and then like social security number. We can start there.
I don't have one.
Okay. And then work into maybe the record store. So,
Absolutely.
So where are you from?
I am from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, and I know not a lot of people know where that is, but the easiest way to tell is it's right across the river from Detroit, Michigan. So got a lot of Detroit influence, music-wise. Huge Jack White fan.
Okay.
Brought up on Motown. My brother was a house DJ. House music was born in Detroit. So yeah, those are where my roots are. A lot of my musical tastes come from where I'm from.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people that watch, and they're from Canada, so there will be some Canadians watching.
Yep.
So
It's as far south in Canada as you can get.
okay. And was music? Well, you're just saying a little bit there, but was music like a big part of your life growing up?
Huge, huge.
Okay.
Music was, for me, it was a salvation of sorts. It allowed me to kind of get into my own space and develop my own taste. Obviously, my parents had some influence that way. They both had very good taste in music.
Okay.
So I was blessed that way. So, but I mean, I found that when I got away from the music they listened to is when I really, got to develop my taste. I got into hip hop really early and rap and pop. And then that developed into like real fascination with punk music in my teenage years. Obviously, that's when everybody gets into punk music.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like mellowed out as I got older into some more pop stuff. The Tragically Hip being a huge influence. That was a band that me and a bunch of friends we got together. I know they're not so well known in the United States, but I mean, besides Rush, they're Canada's biggest band, and they're fantastic.
Yeah. So did you had older siblings? You said you had a brother that was a DJ?
I have a younger brother. He's about
Younger.
he's
Okay.
about 3 years younger than me, and he's got amazing taste in music as well. He's really influenced the electronic side of it, which I did get into as well, like Daft Punk and Chemical Brothers. The Crystal Method, actually heard some of that yesterday on Lithium series, so that was
Gotcha.
pretty cool. Yeah.
So I'm hearing a lot of, I think this next question's already being answered, but like what is your favorite genre? Like do you have a specific genre? I mean, or are you more eclectic of just all over?
I'm really trying to be more eclectic. Working in this store, I really didn't know much about jazz. That was a huge I was very open-minded to it. I mean, people told me the best thing to do is listen to Miles Davis.
Yeah, that's the starting
Yeah,
point.
that's the starting point.
Dave Brubeck, Take Time Out, Take Five.
Yeah,
all those
yeah.
albums,
So
yeah.
I stuck with the classics, and I walked away with where's this sort of music been all my life.
Yeah.
It's my vibe. I
Oh.
love to chill. I just like to sit and just like kind of absorb the music, and I find jazz is absolutely amazing for that.
Yes. Yeah, a nice glass of wine or a little whiskey or
Yep.
something. All right, so this one might get us around the store a little bit. So,
Okay.
top 5 bands. Can you point them out?
Oh, I can. I can.
I know one already.
Yeah.
I'll meet you around the other side.
Yeah. So here, I'll pull a couple of I've been. This right here is probably my favorite record of all time. This is self-titled.
Okay.
Queens of the Stone Age, just released last year. This, I have a friend back home, Tim, who we're both huge Dave Grohl guys. Both were huge in Nirvana. We went to high school together, and he asked me, are you listening to Queens of the Stone Age? I'm like, well, I know Dave drummed on songs for the deaf, and he's like, no. And he handed me this record, and I listened to it, and it changed my life.
Yeah,
it just spoke to me. The sonic, the grooves, the tone of the guitar. Like Josh Homme's tone is second to none, and it gets me. It gets me every time.
And that's what music's about, right? Like just like grabbing you. Yeah.
And then this one, Foo Fighters. I just mentioned Dave Grohl. He just passed. He just left. Kurt passed, and Nirvana was defunct, and he had all these demos, and he went and did these demos with Barrett Martin from Screaming Trees, and he played everything on this record.
Yeah.
He did everything, and this music, it taught me a valuable lesson about artists. It's like you can be in your darkest, lowest spots and still create something amazing and beautiful.
Okay. Yeah.
And this record, it spoke to me as well, and it's just, everybody asked me what the tattoo on the back of my neck was, and it's actually this.
Oh, there you go.
It's a tattoo on the back of my neck.
Oh, check it out. Okay.
So I paid homage to that.
We'll do another video just going through Brad's tattoos.
Yeah, we could do that too.
Oh, I just saw Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, I got the Yellow Submarine, yeah.
Yeah, you're all, okay.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Very cool.
Yeah, so those definitely two.
Top two.
Yeah. Oasis was always big. It's another band that I got into.
I know asking you top five is a on-the-spot question.
Yeah, it is.
You asked me today what my top five are, okay. And
it might change tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then again, like the Beatles are up there. I've always loved the Beatles. When I got out of, of my parents' kind of umbrella of music, I really, really developed a huge taste for the Beatles.
I think top two is a fair question. Like, you always have that top band, and then that one it's right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for me, it starts with Billy Joel.
Love Billy Joel too.
Okay, so here's one of your fun questions. So, what do you listen to when you're sad? When you're not feeling up and
Portishead.
Portishead?
Portishead.
So is this something that brings you up out of that funk? Like when you're
a little
like
bit, yeah.
It's
It's very droll. It's electronic, but her voice is very soothing.
Portishead too. That's so interesting.
Yeah,
I've heard the band. I've heard of them, but never heard it.
Yeah. Again, it's like a '90s band. It was in that age when did electronic music, and it was really starting to come into its own, and came into the forefront of
so
pop
where
music.
would they be in this?
They would be in this section. I know we had Dummy.
And this is where I was going to put you on the spot a little bit, because I was going to ask you about this section. So when you come in the store, you have the front door over here, and then you have your typical pop rock that leads you around the store. But for some reason, I know this was before you.
Yeah.
We had this section, and Pat, the previous owner, had this sign up before, says if you can name this section, we'll give you a $20 store credit or something.
Yep.
So I always looked at it kind of like because it wasn't new music, but it's more alternative and not quite right in the pop rock era.
Yep.
So what is that kind of like your idea? Or?
Basically, yeah. I always call it our new rock alternative section.
Okay.
I think that's kind of a broad.
They're like lost kids back here.
Yeah, because there's stuff when you see it, it makes no rhyme or reason why it's here. Romantics,
Yeah.
that should be
pop rock.
Pop rock.
So it's interesting. I didn't even notice the Romantics before. So.
Yep. Detroit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's Iggy Pop here too, which
But he kind of fits with an alternative. He's not your typical sound. So.
Yep.
Okay. And then do you have any songs that you go that elicit a specific emotions? If you're down, do you try to listen to something more upbeat? If you're upbeat, do you go for something really adrenaline pumping?
Yeah,
just good mood, you want something that just rolls.
Yeah, I really like to get that adrenaline. With when I'm not in the best of headspace, so that's when I'll listen to some harder stuff, Pantera, Rage Against the Machine,
just to flush it out.
Just because anger is an emotion, and it's a gift, and you have to kind of use it productively.
Yeah.
Through music, I'm able to kind of emotionally kind of get rid of a lot of that stuff and just kind of wipe the slate clean.
Yeah, that's
so
what I
to
love
speak.
about
Yeah.
it too. Yeah, especially as a teenager or something. Music was
Yeah.
so important for me
Yep.
when that came around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember the first record you ever bought, like on your own, like you went to a store?
CD or record?
Well, I guess okay. So it could be CD or record.
Okay.
Album.
My first CD I ever bought was the Metallica Black Album.
Okay.
That was my first CD, and I never really started collecting vinyl until about 10 or 15 years ago. And the first one I bought was Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
That's a good start.
Yeah, so that was always a record that spoke to me. Roger's writing on that record is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And do you remember where you bought the CD? I'm sure it's in Canada, right?
Yep, I bought that CD. It would have been probably at HMV.
Okay.
And
Is that a chain or just a little...
Yeah, that's the chain coming over from Britain.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got it there. I used to shop at the mall a lot, and then when I come out of that headspace a little bit, I visited our local record store in Windsor, which was Dr. Disc.
Okay. That's going to lead into my next question.
Yeah.
So do you have like a favorite record store or favorite stores you like to hit over there that are
Yeah.
near?
So Sonic Boom in Toronto.
Okay.
That is by far the best record store in Canada.
Okay.
It's amazing. I can't leave there without finding something. And the store layout's really nice. They brand their store, and it's like right in the heart of downtown Toronto.
Okay.
So that's good, right? And Dr. Disc as well. The guys there are super nice. They help me with with anything I need.
One of my favorite sections is the books.
Okay, let's
I
head
always
over.
like that. In fact, I did a video on it not too long ago. Was the books.
I did see that video. It's great.
Actually, that's a good question. So,
Yeah.
is there any books that you like have read on an artist or a genre of music that like you go, oh, you got to read this thing kind of thing? Are you even like into big book reading as far as music and all that?
I love books. I'm more into the coffee table books.
Okay.
I have tons of coffee table books. I have
Flip through kind of like the Rolling Stone album covers where you can just
Yeah.
kind of I
Yeah,
love
just
those.
stuff that you can leave out and people can kind of pick up and leaf through.
Yeah.
I've got a couple Pink Floyd coffee table books. But the thing I love most about them is the photography. It's
Yeah.
always usually
The art.
photos that are behind, like you're never gonna see.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Those are the things that I like. I like the rare stuff that you're not just gonna find in every book.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I like to leaf through. I like, I'm more picture oriented, I guess.
Yeah.
I've read a couple of autobiographies, authorized, unauthorized. Like I read the Dave Grohl one, which was pretty cool, but it was like an unauthorized one.
Right.
And you hear the stories from the road and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I'm more visually
Like the art.
stimulated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the artwork and
music.
the art. Yeah,
I mean, that's what it's all about. Album covers,
Yeah.
right? That's what draws people in is that artwork.
exactly. Yep. Yep.
So now that we're standing in it, I remember when you first bought it, you were kind of like, dude, I bought a record store.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that.
I was
And we had
stoked.
just kind of gotten to know each other.
Yep.
And I could tell you were like, I don't think it's hit them yet.
Yeah, it really took a while for it to sink in because this has been a dream of mine, and
So is that why you bought it? It was like a dream?
it was an opportunity that I just couldn't say no to. It was in Florida, and friends of mine would talk about opportunities in Florida, and it just made sense.
Okay.
It was just like it was a sign, like this. I'm supposed to do this,
Okay.
and it's been the greatest year of my life. It's
Awesome.
been great. Yeah, I love it.
And what do you think like the best? It's kind of a generic question, but like, what's the best thing about it? Just being able to walk in and wall-to-wall records and music and surround yourself by. What do you think is the best thing about owning the store?
The best thing about owning the store is having being somewhat of a pillar of the community and engaging people in something that I love and enjoy, and I can connect with people musically because it's so near and dear to me, and I find that's the best way you get to know people. And I've always said, like, when people are dating, the first thing they should do is exchange iPods.
Yeah.
And go through
Are
the
we
track list and
compatible?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because music, you can connect with anybody through music.
Yeah, and
Sorry, go ahead.
it's funny because when I'm listening to you say that, and that's a big reason why this exists, this whole YouTube VC thing, because so many people create a YouTube channel because they have nobody to talk to about their music.
Exactly.
It's like they're in their own little island, and they find this community online and go, my people.
Yeah.
So you
Yep.
get to do it in a physical way.
Exactly.
I got to meet somebody from Canada who came down, and I only met through YouTube.
Yep.
We got to spend the day together talking about it. So that's kind of cool that you're like, oh, I get to share my passion with people.
That's it.
And obviously they're into it because they're in this store.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's very cool.
Yeah, I love it.
And do you know much about the history of Kingfish?
I know most of it. I'm sure I'm leaving out parts, but I know Pat and Carol were at the Oldsmar flea market for years, and then this opportunity where the space came about, and Pat's been here since I think 2000, was here for 5 years, 2017, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see him when he was over there at the flea market?
I did not. No,
Okay.
no. I only met Pat through
Here?
through the dealings here. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
It was kind of neat because it's like a little miniature version of this. He actually had an enclosed area, almost like glass doors, I think, over there. So it was pretty neat.
I've heard him talk about his collections and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously with all this inventory that's in this store and his I could just imagine what it would look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
I
need
know-
to do a video of his personal collection.
Oh,
one
I would
day.
love to see that.
And that stereo system that he
Oh
has.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding. And is it what you expected, like owning a record store? Was there some things that kind of like surprised you, or you kind of just went into it and just?
Yeah, just jumped in both feet first.
Is this your first like business that you've owned on your own?
Yes, yeah. I've never owned a
okay.
business. I was a tradesman for 25 years, so I was spent time working for other people, and
Okay.
I'm a pretty hard worker, so I wanted to start working for myself, and growing a business, that was already in very good standing.
Okay.
So I guess just dealing with the vast amount of inventory, it's it's a lot.
Overwhelming? Does it ever become overwhelming? Like when you're like, oh, you get another 10 boxes, and you're like, you ever feel like that, or you're like, let's go?
No, I'm just like, let's go. Let's get these, cleaned up, priced, and let's get them on the floor because people want to buy that stuff. That's why I love doing the outdoor events when we give people the opportunity to come here and dig through boxes and find gems for like 3 for $10, and just watching the smiles on people's faces when they find something.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, and even back here when you see people and they're just like, and they get so excited, and that warms my heart. Like I absolutely love that. It when you get young girls coming here.
When they do the whole, they hug it, they do the whole hug the album.